Honestly, this transfer market is dead, man. I've seen more life in a freaking cemetery than I have with what's happening with Nottingham Forest at the moment. But it's not just Forest that are suffering with this. There are many other fans and clubs that are getting frustrated with the lack of movement. So today, we're going to have a bit of fun. Welcome to your Forest News. Good morning, good evening, or good night, wherever in the world you are. Whatever time of day you're watching this, hope you're well, and welcome to your, well, I can't really call it latest Forest news. There are links with some Wolves centre-back Collins. There's a Strasbourg centre-back. Honestly, I can't do it today. It's just too boring, the links right now. I'm not saying that's a good or bad thing. I'm just saying, let's take a break from transfers for one day, and let's have some fun. Let's put together a dream team. I've been set a challenge. Can I put together a better team than Forest had last season with less than 100 million sterling? And I think, of course I can. I am up for every challenge. For those of you wondering, Football Manager will be back as well in the next day or two. We're just doing some PC upgrades, and then that will be back, and we'll be winning the league, or at least qualifying for Champions League with Forest. But for now, we're going to have some fun. And we're going to create a dream team. Now, I will add, some of the players that I will drop from this team are not players that I hate or that I want to get rid of or anything like that. I'm just piecing together a puzzle of a squad and then showing you on screen on the pitch, which we'll go into in a second, just how they could fit in. So if I was to drop, for example, Morgan Gibbs-White, doesn't mean I want him gone, okay? I'm sure that will all come up in the comments. All right, let's jump into this. Let's get on with it and let's see what I can piece together. All right, guys, so let's start from the back to the front and let's see what we can put together. Now, I won't hover around on this one. This first one is the goalkeeper. And for me, it's Hendo, man. Hendo's my boy. Hendo's my choice. That's who I would go with. And he's probably going to cost us, like we said yesterday, 15 mil plus add-ons. Let's just call it 20 mil for the sake of argument. Now, any more than 20 mil, and I think we should dip down to Livakovic because we can pick him up for 10 mil, half the price. So, no more than 20 mil for me for Hendo. I think a great deal at 20. Any more than that is starting to get, iffy. Okay, let's move on to the right back, and this is where all you guys are probably going to kick off because I've dropped Serge Aurier, I've dropped Nico Williams, I've dropped Biancone. Because there's a new guy I want at right back. And for the price he comes at, I think he's fantastic. And I'd bring him in. Now, I'm not saying he's better than Serge. Well, actually, he might be. But I'm just saying this should be the kind of player that Forest go for. And it is Baku from Wolfsburg. One of the best right backs in the whole of Europe, in my opinion. Cost us about 10 to 15 million euros. So what's that? About 12 million quid, something like that. Maybe even 10 million quid. Would be fantastic because not only is he a right back, he can play a right winger, right midfielder, anywhere up and down that right hand channel. Very attacking, very aggressive, and very strong as well. So for me, that's who I would go with in the squad. Not necessarily saying I'd start him. The two centre backs, no problems for me. It's the dream team, the brick walls, the Rolls Royces. It is Felipe and Niakate. So we're adding no extra cost there at all. So far, in my estimation, we've probably spent about 30 million to get Henderson in and Baku in. Now, left back is definitely an issue. Ideally, I'd love Lodi to come back, but it looks like it's going to fall through on personal terms, well, not terms, more circumstances than terms. So, who better to come in than someone who's played in the Premier League and someone who knows the league and knows how to fight at both ends of the table? He's done it with Spurs and he did it last season with Southampton. So for me, I'm bringing in KWP. Now, I know he's more of a right back than a left back, but he's very good at being a left back. In fact, so much so that he held that position down for Southampton. And Sorry Mike tells me he's an amazing left back. And if he's good enough for Sorry Mike, he's good enough for me. However, he's probably going to cost us about 20 to 25 mil if we were to get him. Now, with Southampton being relegated, you would expect that we could rip them off because they are in the tier below us. Sorry, Mike, for reminding you. So I reckon he'd probably go for about 20. And that would bring our total spend up to what we at here, 20, 30, 40, 50 mil. So I've already blown half the budget on 3 players at the back. Let's move on to the midfield. Danilo is obviously going in. He's a nice freebie as well. Look, don't worry about formation and anything. This is just laid out in the 4-2-3-1. Nothing too in-depth right now. Now, as per the thumbnail, it's got to be Tyler Adams for me. If not Tyler Adams, then it needs to be Calvert-Lewin on loan from Man City. Or it needs to be Amrabat. But he's probably going to cost about 25, 30 mil as well. I think we can get Tyler Adams for somewhere between 20 and 25. And I think more the 20. And I say 20 just to piss the Leeds fans off, because they really feel it undermines them when you say that. So I'm going to say 20 mil. But I'm going to count him as 25 mil. And that already brings us up to 75 mil spent. And we haven't even got into the attacking players yet. But this back 6 here looks pretty damn tasty to me. And it would cost us, including what we've got, 75 mil currently. That's absolutely crazy. All right, let's keep on going. And then we're going to leave the Wonder Kid out on the right-hand side. Could be Scarpa, could be Jono, whatever. But this is assuming, obviously, he doesn't leave this summer. And then we're going to put my boy Morgan Gibbs-White in the middle. Again, could be Scarpa, etc. It's the left side where we're going to make some changes. And we're going to bring in one of my favorite players over the last few years. And that is Jonathan Bamba. Jonathan Bamba is so cheap right now. In fact, you can't get cheaper than him because he is completely and utterly free. So I would bring him in with no hesitation whatsoever. He would slot into that left wing position. Once he is contracted, he is probably going to be worth about 15 to 20 million automatically. So even if he was the crappiest player to ever play for Nottingham Forest, and yes, I know that would take some doing, he would just slot in for Forest and we could sell him on for easily 10, 15, even 20 mil. But I don't even worry about that because I know what a quality player he is. I think he can transition into the Premier League quite well, and I think is a risk-free signing. So for me, that still leaves us at 75 mil net spend so far on this team. Then up front, I've dropped Taiwo just because I didn't want to make this video basically the whole Forest team. And we wanted to spice it up before everyone cries, remember, we've defended Taiwo all season when others didn't. And I've brought in another striker. Again, I'm just keeping this realistic to what I think Forest can actually achieve. And that striker for me is Dembele. Dembele, again, another free player. Only really being shown interest from some of the Turkish clubs currently. There's been this odd little twinkle that Forest may be interested. I've sent a personal email and letter to Marinakis to let him know and remind him that Dembele is free. But he would be fantastic. Look, he is a risk. He didn't have the greatest season last season. Only 3 goals returned from 20 odd played for Lyon. But prior to that, he's been a bit of a machine. You know, week in, week out, scoring goals. I think it is a risk, but I think it's a free risk. Therefore, worth taking. Now, even if you wanted to, you could bring maybe an Iniacho in at 15 mil. I reckon that's what it will cost us. That would bring your net spend up to what, 90 mil so far? Whichever way you look at it, this team is going to cost somewhere in and around 100 mil. This isn't even with the backups. We're going to need some more depth in the midfield. Another centre back, definitely. You know, 1 or 2 other players. And the purpose and the point of this video is to show you that whichever direction we go in, Forest probably need to spend 100 mil just to be competitive next year. And the worrying thing is, this is even with 2 free players coming in. So what do you guys think of this team? I think it's quite a tasty team, you know. That to me looks like a solid Premier League team. Dembele or Awani up front be fantastic. Scarpa in the mix on this team as well. Jonathan Bamba. Oh, God, I love the look of this team. I really do. But what do you guys think? From this team, Who would you take out? Which of the old players would you bring back in, as in the old Forest players from last season? And would there be any other players you buy instead? And work to that budget. Have in mind 75 to 100 mil. Can you create a team and put one together? Let me know down in the comments below. All right, we'll be back with normal transfer videos coming up. And obviously, Football Manager will be back on. Just some slight upgrades being done to the computer to make the stream run nice and smoothly. So make sure you're subscribed to the Wolverine Gaming channel. The link is in the description below. Get your thoughts in on all of this. We'll see you on the next transfer video. Hope you enjoyed this random video. And come on, you Reds.